So I'm in the process of draining, but I'm going to explain a little bit how I constructed this. Completely custom. Started with the shovel. Dig a big hole. I created 2 benches on either side. Built a box to contain the dirt on the inside, to hold the inside part where your feet go down into the hole in the middle. And then fabric was used, 3 or 4 layers of fabric lining the hole inside all the way around. 6x6 pressure treated ties around the perimeter, leveled, and then 2x6s as a plate on top that sandwiched the fabric, and then the liner. It's basically a landscaping water feature thick membrane liner, and then screwed down the sill plate, and that got all sandwiched down in between. Water enters the system from the tub through here underground. 1-inch pipe goes into a main valve to the main pump, which is unioned in case I need to change it. The water then goes through. I've got a pressure valve. It goes into a filter. From there it goes to another valve that isolates the output to drain it, which I'm doing now. Or it goes down into this valve. The water continues, goes into the heater, out the heater to another isolation valve, and this pipe continues over. I have another isolation valve here that is basically my input. I can eliminate the electric heater and actually heat this through a fire pit through a copper coil, and that's a matter of just turning valves and having it run through the system. From there it goes to a T, which some of the water goes through and around. This is my pipe that goes into the tub. It's 3/4 that goes into the tub. The other side of the T goes around to another small secondary pump that feeds a Ventura valve. That is the Ozonator, part of the Ozonator system, which is this black box right here. That's an Ozonator that induces ozone into the water. And the reason why I have it separated here, I've got 2 different valves. I can valve these. I usually leave the one from the secondary pump open, and I can valve this down and control the amount of water through the Ventura, which then allows a certain amount of air from the Ozonator to come into the system. One of the hardest parts about this was actually the digging. This soil appears full of a lot of rock, and both Foxton and I did a lot of hard digging to get this hole the way we wanted. But after that, setting in the liner was a challenge to get it so that we could get rid of a lot of the ripples. Had to do a lot of folds, and once the water's in it, with the pressure of the water, it sucks everything up against the side, so it actually came out better than I thought. Another challenge was a lid to keep this from heat escaping, keep it insulated. So I came up with a lid that basically folds and unfolds. It has a hinge in the middle, and it's on rollers, so it's hinged in the middle. The whole thing's constructed out of 2x4s and has a cavity inside of it, which I have solid foam layered inside, and then I have a thinner rubber membrane that's glued and screwed to both sides of both halves of the lid. I have handles on here so that once you're in, you can push and pull it. It's on rollers. Normally you do this inside while you're in the water, but it's on rollers so that you can easily roll it on and off, and then fold the half to close it. And once again, this is made to do when you're in the water. But right now I'm servicing it, so I'm just opening it up to there. I've got a hose connected to my output. This is an output I've turned the pump off, the small pump off over here because it's not needed, so it doesn't run dry. And I'm going to isolate this pump so that it can drain. So I do that by turning off a valve that goes to the heater, the secondary pump, and back into the hot tub. I open up the valve for the discharge hose that I've connected. The other thing I like to do is take my filter out. There's no need for the filter as I'm draining it. So I pull my filter out, which is getting dirty. May have to replace that. And I'll install it without the filter. No need to turn the heater off. It only operates when there's flow. Now I'll turn my main power on to the system. That turns this main pump on. And now my flow is out my discharge and not through the system. Still draining water, so I'm kind of got the level down pretty low. I'm going to do a little rinsing with the hose. I have the bottom of this where you put your feet layered in a couple inches of glass beads. It's kind of a cool effect, but dirt seems to get trapped down in there, so I'm going to go ahead and try and flush these and clean them out. Okay, I got it all cleaned. I filled it with water, and I have added a guesstimation on chemicals. I've shocked it with chlorine, all the normal stuff. It's just like a regular hot tub with chemicals. So now that I've guesstimated chemicals, I'm going to now test the water to see where all the levels are at. Standard hot tub care, just like a regular hot tub. So for the bubbles, I actually used a bubble mat that's made for a tub. It's got suction cups on it. Comes with a little air pump, and I siliconed it to the bottom where you put your feet, and then I covered it in all the beads so it stays put. I'm actually using a blower, which is considerably better than the pump it came with. And it's actually made for a hot tub, and I ran a pipe down to it from the blower, which I have buried in the ground where the lid goes over. So that's basically it for my homemade hot tub. A lot of thought and a lot of hard work. I'm very pleased with it. Pretty low maintenance. Change the filter every couple weeks. Adjust the valves for the Ozonator, and then a refill every 5-6 months. I'd like to give thanks to Foxton, my son, for helping, and my brother Matt. He actually, this is what he does for a living. He owns a company. It's called MR Services. Give me some pointers on it. In the future, I'd like to do some extra upgrades, so stay tuned.